Welcome to Hidden Gems of Nature. You can see this gorgeous lake down below me. It's Lake Oeschinensee. It's in the Swiss Alps. It's not at all a hidden gem. There are lots and lots of people up here. I'm on a trail way up above the lake, so I have a lot less people, but down by the lake it's actually crowded. But it's gorgeous. It's worth the time to come up and see. The reason it's so crowded is it's kind of like a national park in the United States. It's got some kind of a European or world rating, and you can understand why it's so gorgeous. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this gem.
We took the train into a town called Kandersteg and then walked over to the gondola and then took the gondola up the mountain and hiked over to the lake. This is our view after getting off the gondola, and then we head down the path to the lake. The path is so heavily traveled that it's asphalted in. You don't see a lot of wildlife here, but you do see a lot of domesticated animal like these cattle. And of course you can hear the bells ringing as we're hiking along the path. We dropped into the lake, and after I got down to the lake, I panned across the lake so you could see some of the waterfalls. These lakes are all glacier fed, so there's waterfalls everywhere, and I'll zoom in on a couple of the waterfalls as we look across the lake. This lake must have had 15 or 20 waterfalls or cascades flowing into it. As I started ascending up the side of the lake, alongside the cliff, I got this great view of the largest cascade that flows into the lake. You can see how steep this basin is. In fact, the old trail that used to go around the lake got washed out on the opposite side of the lake. As I pan across the lake, there's this alcove on the opposite side. You can see the two obvious waterfalls on the left-hand side, but as you pan around that alcove, there's actually 7 or 8 waterfalls just in that alcove alone. You can see how steep the mountainside is. It's much steeper than a staircase. Evidently, some people row across the lake to the large cascade, and then they have someone drop them off, and they proceed to go directly up the side of the mountain to connect to the trail. In fact, you can see a woman who is coming right up the side of the mountain right there. Looking into the alcove from this direction, you can't see the first waterfall, which kind of sits in tight on the left-hand side, but then there's waterfall number 2 in the middle. As I pan across, 3 and 4 are right there next to each other at the lower falls. And then over on the right side are fall 5, 6 and 7. 5's back in the corner, and 6 and 7 are next to each other on the right side. And there's the large cascades that everybody rows their boats up to. The large cascade actually has a couple of streams that flow into it. This is one of the streams. We cross over it on this wooden bridge, and you can see it as it makes its way down the mountain to the cascades. Once we cross this bridge, we're kind of on a bench on the far side of the lake, and there's even a couple of lodges up here. Standing up here on the bench, I'll pan around across the lake. As you can see, there's several more benches around the lake, and you can make your way up to several of those benches. And then, of course, we have these ringing cowbells to make you feel totally immersed in Switzerland. This is our back trail. I'll pan rather quickly around, and this is what's up ahead of us. As I mentioned, you can hike up to those other benches, or you can just hike up to this waterfall that I'm zooming in on. And you can't come up to this lake without at least stepping in the water and going for a rowboat ride around the lake.